Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. It's that time again where we take a look at this month's upcoming 4K Blu-ray releases. March is shaping up to be another packed month with a nice wide selection of titles coming to the 4K format. These are my top picks from the March release calendar. We start off on the 1st of March with a new release of the Daniel Craig collection on 4K Blu-ray in the US and Canada. This collection is an updated version of the previous set that was released in 2019, as this will now include No Time to Die. Tech specs should match the early releases, and there is currently no date for the UK or elsewhere. The BBC miniseries The Green Planet, narrated by David Attenborough, releases onto 4K Blu-ray on the 7th of March in the UK. David Attenborough's documentaries usually look fantastic on 4K and are great for showing off your system, so hopefully this should be no different. Tech specs include HDR10 and Dolby Atmos. West Side Story, directed by Steven Spielberg, arrives on 4K Blu-ray on the 7th of March in the UK and the 15th of March in the US. The UK is getting a standard release alongside a Zavvi exclusive Steelbook coming out on the same day. The US is getting a standard version, a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook which is the same design as the UK Zavvi exclusive, and a Target exclusive Art Edition which includes exclusive original packaging and 2 limited edition foil etched prints, all releasing on the same day. Technical specs include HDR10 and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. For the US market, Synapse Films is releasing 1985's Phenomena on 4K Blu-ray with a limited edition set of 6,000 copies on the 8th of March. The set will include limited edition slipcase packaging, reversible sleeve artwork, a collector's booklet, a fold-out double-sided poster and reproduction art cards. The collection will contain 2 4K discs which will feature new 4K restorations of 3 versions of the film, the original Italian version, the international cut and the US Creepers cut, all presented in Dolby Vision HDR. In the UK, Arrow released 3 limited edition sets for this movie on the 28th of February, which contain similar content to the US release. The Matrix Resurrections hits 4K Blu-ray on the 8th of March in the US and the 21st of March in the UK. The US is receiving a standard release and a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook with a Matrix Code style design. The UK is getting 3 versions, a standard release, a Zavvi exclusive Steelbook with artwork featuring an out-of-focus Neo and Trinity, then an Amazon exclusive Steelbook with a red and blue pill design. All versions will feature Dolby Vision HDR and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. On the topic of The Matrix, Warner Brothers are also releasing the Matrix Deja Vu collection, which includes all 4 movies on 4K Blu-ray. All discs should include the same tech specs as previous releases with Dolby Vision HDR and Dolby Atmos. This set will release on the 8th of March in the US and Canada, the 10th of March in Italy and the 16th of March in Australia. Downton Abbey, the movie, gets a 4K Blu-ray release in the US and Canada on the 8th of March. Both countries are additionally getting a Steelbook release on the same day with gold artwork depicting the Abbey. Tech specs will include Dolby Vision HDR and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. Surprisingly, there is no release date set for the UK yet, but it is coming out in France on the 2nd and in Germany on the 3rd. SF Studios are also releasing this title in Scandinavian countries on the 28th of February. Cry Macho starring Clint Eastwood is getting a 4K Blu-ray release in France on the 9th of March. This movie has already had a 4K release in the US, Germany and Italy, and this French release should carry the same tech specs. Studio Canal are releasing a standard 4K Blu-ray version of 1992's Basic Instinct on the 10th of March in Germany, after previously only receiving a Steelbook version. This title has already had a variety of releases in the UK, France and Australia, but is yet to come out in the US. This new standard release in Germany will hold the same tech specs as previous releases. Arrow is releasing an American Werewolf in London on 4K Blu-ray with a limited edition set on the 14th of March in the UK and the 15th of March in the US. The set will include a reversible sleeve featuring original poster art and artwork by Graham Humphreys, a double-sided fold-out poster, 6 double-sided lobby card reproductions and a limited edition 60-page book. The 4K disc will feature brand new 4K restoration by Arrow Films for the original camera negative with a Dolby Vision HDR presentation alongside the original uncompressed 1.0 mono and DTS 5.1 soundtracks. Arrow is additionally issuing a Zavvi exclusive set which is limited to 1,000 units and contains similar content to the other set. The main draw to this edition though is that it will include a resin hand transformation statuette. The date is yet to be announced for the Zavvi exclusive release. For its 15th anniversary, Shooter starring Mark Wahlberg comes to 4K Blu-ray for the very first time on the 14th of March in the UK and the 15th of March in the US. The UK is getting a standard and steelbook release, whilst the US is only receiving a steelbook version. All will have the same artwork. The 4K disc will feature Dolby Vision HDR and a DTS 5.1 soundtrack. The Orson Welles classic Touch of Evil comes to 4K Blu-ray on the 15th of March, courtesy of Kino Lorber. The release will include 3 discs, each containing a brand new Dolby Vision HDR master of the 3 versions of the movie: the theatrical cut, the reconstructed cut and the preview cut. Each disc will include an audio commentary and discs 2 and 3 will carry a featurette. Kino Lorber are also releasing Billy Wilder's The Apartment on 4K Blu-ray on the 15th of March. This release appears to be using the same master as Arrow used on their previous Blu-ray release and will be presented in SDR with no new HDR grading. Both the Blu-ray and 4K discs will have 2 audio commentaries, and the Blu-ray disc will also carry an additional documentary and featurette. Le Cercle Rouge, directed by Jean-Pierre Melville, gets a new 4K Blu-ray release from the Criterion Collection on the 15th of March. Studio Canal did previously release this title for European markets at the end of 2020, and this new version from Criterion will have the same 4K restoration. The release will include 1 4K disc of the film presented in Dolby Vision HDR with an uncompressed monaural soundtrack, and 1 Blu-ray disc with the film and special features. Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man films are getting a 4K Blu-ray release in standard packaging on the 15th of March in the US. This release is similar to the Tobey Maguire trilogy that came out last month. Both films will carry the same tech specs as the previous releases. Also on the 15th, Paramount are issuing a new release for Sonic the Hedgehog in the US with a bonus stage edition. This limited edition set features exclusive packaging, a mini steelbook, original poster cards and a comic book alongside the 4K and Blu-ray discs. Tech specs will include Dolby Vision HDR and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. Shout Factory are releasing 1982's The Sword and the Sorcerer on 4K Blu-ray with a collector's edition on the 15th of March in the US and Canada. The release will contain both the 4K and Blu-ray discs and a reversible art wrap with alternative original theatrical poster artwork. The 4K disc will carry a new 4K scan from the original negative presented in Dolby Vision HDR with a DTS 2.0 soundtrack, alongside an additional director's commentary. The Blu-ray disc will also hold the film along with a host of special features. If you order this release directly from shoutfactory.com, you will receive an exclusive 18-inch by 24-inch rolled poster featuring the original theatrical artwork, which is available while supplies last. House of Gucci, directed by Ridley Scott, gets a 4K Blu-ray release, but only in Italy and Scandinavian countries. The Scandinavian release is coming out via SF Studios on the 21st of March with a standard version. The Italian release is coming out via Eagle Pictures on the 23rd of March with standard and steelbook versions. Both releases will only have English DTS 5.1 soundtracks and no 7.1 or Atmos tracks. If you do care about the audio side of things, the US and Canadian Blu-ray releases carry DTS 7.1 soundtracks, and to get the Atmos mix you'll need to purchase either the UK, German, French or Australian Blu-ray releases. In celebration of its 50th anniversary, Paramount Pictures are releasing the Godfather trilogy onto 4K Blu-ray on the 21st of March in the UK and the 22nd of March in the US, with standard and deluxe collector's edition versions. While the standard box set just contains the 3 movies, the collector's edition will be presented in deluxe packaging and includes a hardcover coffee table book alongside portrait art prints on archival paper. Both editions will include The Godfather Part 2 and 3 versions of The Godfather Part 3, the theatrical cut, Coppola's 1991 cut, and Coppola's recently re-edited version of the final film, all newly remastered and restored in Dolby Vision. It's great to see this legendary trilogy come to the 4K format. Can't wait to check it out. Escape from LA gets a standard 4K Blu-ray release in the UK on the 21st of March after previously receiving the collector's edition last month. This standard release is great for anyone who didn't purchase or wasn't interested in the collector's edition. The tech specs are the same on both releases, with Dolby Vision HDR and a DTS 5.1 soundtrack. Australia is also receiving a standard version on the 16th of March, and Germany is getting the collector's edition on the 17th of March. Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley hits shelves on 4K Blu-ray on the 22nd of March in the US and Canada. Alongside the standard release, both countries are also receiving a Best Buy exclusive steelbook with a design similar to the poster that features Bradley Cooper. This title is also getting a standard release in Australia on the 9th of March. All versions will include HDR10 and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack. Kino Lorber are releasing David Cronenberg's thriller Eastern Promises starring Viggo Mortensen onto 4K Blu-ray on the 22nd of March. This release will feature a new 4K master approved and colour graded by the cinematographer, presented in Dolby Vision HDR. Along with the movie, the Blu-ray disc will also carry a handful of extras. The Hunger Games quadrilogy gets a new Best Buy exclusive Ultimate Steelbook Collection box set from Lionsgate on the 22nd of March. The front of each steelbook has 4 different pieces of artwork depicting Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen, and the reverse of each steelbook has a section of the map of Panem, with one having a list of the districts. All 4 have the same tech specs as the previous 4K releases. After the release was pushed back due to some production delays, John Hillcoat's Australian Western, The Proposition, arrives onto 4K Blu-ray on the 28th of March, courtesy of the British Film Institute. This release is a 2-disc set limited to 5,000 copies and includes an 80-page book, a double-sided poster featuring new artwork and the original UK poster artwork, plus a host of special features. The 4K disc will carry a new 4K master of the film with a Dolby Vision HDR presentation and a DTS 5.1 soundtrack. The 1987 classic RoboCop is getting a 4K Blu-ray release from Arrow on the 28th of March in the UK and the 12th of April in the US, with both limited edition and steelbook versions. The limited edition release will include 6 collector's postcards, a double-sided fold-out poster, a reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork, and an 80-page limited edition collector's booklet. The steelbook is a Zavvi exclusive in the UK and will feature the original film poster artwork. All releases will carry 4K restorations of both cuts of the film, the director's cut and the theatrical cut, presented in Dolby Vision HDR. Both cuts will also support the original lossless stereo and 4-channel mixes, plus DTS 5.1 and Dolby Atmos surround sound options. Arrow are also releasing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein onto 4K Blu-ray with standard and steelbook versions. Both versions will feature a new 4K restoration from the original camera negatives by Sony Pictures Entertainment, with Dolby Vision HDR alongside the original uncompressed stereo and DTS 5.1 soundtracks. The steelbook is a Zavvi exclusive in the US and UK and features artwork similar to the film's poster. The first pressings of both versions will additionally include an illustrated collector's booklet. The UK is receiving both versions on the 28th of March, whilst the US is getting the Steelbook on the 29th of March, with the standard release coming a little later on the 12th of April. The 1978 classic concert film The Last Waltz, directed by Martin Scorsese, arrives on 4K Blu-ray courtesy of the Criterion Collection on the 29th of March. This release will feature a new 4K digital restoration supervised and approved by director Martin Scorsese and presented in Dolby Vision HDR with the DTS 5.1 soundtrack, supervised and approved by musician Robbie Robertson. Among the director-approved special features includes 2 alternate soundtracks, 2 audio commentaries and a new interview with Scorsese himself. And finally, Illumination's Sing 2 hits 4K Blu-ray on the 29th of March in the US. The release will feature HDR10 and a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, along with 2 all-new mini-movies. This title is also receiving a 4K Blu-ray in Australia on the 30th of March, in Germany on the 7th of April, and in Scandinavian countries on the 9th of May. So that's a wrap for March's 4K Blu-ray releases. Is there anything that catches your eye? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoy this type of content, why not consider subscribing and hitting the like button, as I have new videos out every week, including reviews of the latest 4K releases. Thanks for watching guys, enjoy your movies. Bye!